What do you say, everybody? Mick Gillespie, Cubs Baseball Channel. Nico Horner, guys locking up the Gold Glove. I think it's really easy to see if you've been able to watch any Cubs baseball this year and look at other second basemen around the league that Nico Horner has established himself as the elite defensive second baseman in all of the game. He's like Rhino. He's like Darwin Barney. Even like Javi Baez when he played second base. Love Nico. I'm giving him the Gold Glove right now. Everyone else is playing for second, right? You guys tell me what you think in the comments section. And also, do me a favor, before we get into everything going on this Labor Day, make sure that you join our channel. Some of you guys might be off. Some of you might be at work right now, whatever you're doing. Man, like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. That's a way of saying go Cubs when you give us one of these right here. All right, happy Labor Day. Is that even a thing? Yeah, right, it is. Happy Labor Day to all you guys, and thank you for being on the channel. Cubs taking on the Giants today. Let's talk about the series that just took place in Cincinnati. Nico Horner really highlighted just how good this team is defensively with some of his awesome plays at second base. He's gotten a lot of help because the defense has been solid. Dansby Swanson has been just a rock at the shortstop spot. Bellinger, wherever you put him, seems to always make a great play. Nick Madrigal and Jamer have been great as well when they've been into the games, but no one better than Nico and what he's been able to do at second base. And I really think that if you just saw that Cincinnati series and you watched how good he is, makes all the routine plays, but then he makes spectacular plays. He really is something special. And the game Cincinnati Saturday night, the flare in the right field that he caught and turned into a double play, that's one of the most beautiful plays a second baseman has made all year long. It's just the how crisp they turn double plays. So I really feel like Nico is closing in on a Gold Glove this year. And I would love to hear what you guys think as well. So Labor Day game at Wrigley. And today it is the Cubs and the San Francisco Giants, 1:20. That's why coming off of a road trip on a Monday, it's day baseball. Now that we have lights, it's because today's a holiday. And so, you play a day game. You play a day game for Labor Day. Everybody's going to be out there. They're going to be having a good time. It's going to be a packed house at Wrigley Field, probably a sellout. And the Cubs and the Giants, two teams who are contending right now for a spot in the postseason. And with that said, before I get into the Cubs and the Giants, I just want to give you an updated look at the NL Central standings. Milwaukee, 3.5 games up. The Cubs had an opportunity to sweep the series at Cincinnati. They had two, as you guys know, dreadful losses in the ninth inning, taking leads into the ninth and unable to hold on. But the blowout on Sunday does split the series with the Reds. And I think that for Cubs fans and for the team, you look at it right now, 3.5 games back, nothing really lost, nothing gained. With the series against Cincinnati, Milwaukee continues to play solid baseball. So I don't know with a month left if overtaking Milwaukee is something that the Cubs are going to be able to do, right? Is it realistic? Yeah, I mean, it could happen. I mean, a 3.5 game lead could be gone in 4 games, right? But you got to win and they got to lose. And the Brewers have had really consistent starting pitching, and that makes them tough to overcome. That's what their strength is. And when you have good starting pitching, it's easy for you to last over the competition in a marathon type of season. And baseball's regular season is a marathon. So the Brewers are in good shape. But let's take a look at the Wildcard standings. And what's crazy is just how this race is right now. Look at this thing. You got Philadelphia 5.5 games up. The Cubs have distanced themselves from the lower end of the playoff pack up by 3. I know, could be 4, could be 5, right? They could have buried Cincinnati, but they split. They didn't win. They lost a couple of close games. That happens in the world of baseball. So the Cubs, with that plus 3 game second wild card lead in the NL, looking behind them, seeing a lot of company. Look at this race. Right now, you got 4 teams in a virtual tie. 3 are literally tied, and then Cincinnati has a win and a loss more than the other teams, but they're still statistically even, right? Even the percentage is the same. So Arizona, Miami, San Francisco, and the Reds are all tied trying to get that final spot. This is why they expanded the wild card, because they wanted this. They wanted to kind of have just this incredible down the stretch type of playoff race, and they got it this year. The Cubs, they're going to play some of these teams. They just finished up with Cincinnati down there at the bottom. They won't play the Reds the rest of the year. They don't have the Miami Marlins on the schedule, but they do have Arizona. They've got 4 games in this homestand against the Diamondbacks, and then next road trip, they go to Arizona for 3. That's important because it's going to determine whether the Cubs can pull away from Arizona or if the Diamondbacks could overtake the Cubs. I mean, you got 7 head-to-head, right? The Giants in town starting today, tomorrow a night game, and then Wednesday a day game, final 3 games that these teams will play. I'd say, historically the Cubs have played pretty good baseball against the Giants. I don't know why. Even when the Giants were in the midst of their dynasty and the Cubs had some pretty bad teams, they just seemed to play fairly well against the Giants. So, as I mentioned, you're talking about 3 games against the Giants, and San Francisco just lost a series at San Diego last night. And the Giants have won just 2 different ones. They have a 1-8 record in their last 9 series. The only team that they won a series against was the Reds. They just keep losing. Now, they don't get swept, but they just haven't been able to win series. Where on the other hand, the Cubs have done a really nice job of winning series and bringing momentum into this race. So you talk about 4 teams in there. The Cubs will play 2 of them, and it feels like they just went down to Cincinnati and split. And honestly, it would have been great to win the series, but a split's really a win for the Cubs because the Reds are the team chasing them. The Cubs aren't chasing the Reds. And, obviously, even going 2-2, they picked up, a game. So they're 3 games up right now. And everyone else lost yesterday except the Marlins, who have won 4 in a row to kind of sneak back into the mix again. And I didn't think that they would be in this spot, but they are. So this makes really interesting baseball as we move down the stretch. All right, today's matchup, great pitching matchup. You got Justin Steele pushing really hard to force everyone to vote for him as the Heisman Trophy winner. And I'd say right now, he's in the top 5. You could argue he's in the top 3. He's just got to keep going out there and winning big games. And when your team like the Cubs is playing important baseball every single day, voters will notice that. If you're cruising in and the games don't matter, even though really your performance and winning awards shouldn't be tied to that, but if your team is playing like the Cubs, and they've been doing this since the trade deadline, must-win games that you got to have to stay in the race and all of that stuff, people pay attention. His last start against Milwaukee was fantastic. I mean, it was the Cubs needed a win. The Brewers had won 9 in a row. He goes out there, shuts them out, and the Cubs win the game, right? So today, he's going to take on Logan Webb, one of the best arms that San Francisco has. And look at that record, a stellar 15-3 for Steele going against Webb with a 2.69 ERA, 15 wins already. He's got a chance to be a 20-game winner, needs to win today's game. Logan Webb, 9-11 with a 3.49 earned run average in game 1 of this 3-game series, Cubs against the Giants. So as we kind of take this step forward, I'm going to give you an idea, and it talked about the schedule a little bit, but here's a look at the schedule for the final month of the season, where we're at right now, and we're in the midst of this, and there you go. You got Giants today, you got a 6:40 start tomorrow, then a 1:20 day game. Best day games in sports are at Wrigley Field. Then the Diamondbacks come to town, and I love it. You got a night game and then 3 more day games. And this is the most important series on the road of the season, I think, for the Cubs. I really do. I think if you play good baseball here, you're a split, even a split in this. If you go 4-3 or 3-4, I think you're all right. You just can't get swept. And if you end up winning some of these series, you make it really difficult for that particular team or both teams, depending on how they turn out, to overtake you in the standings, right? And after this, Colorado is always a weird place to play. The Diamondbacks for 3 come back home against the lowly Pirates, Colorado, and then you finish up against a Braves team that might not have anything to play for, and the 3 games against Milwaukee to end the season. So that's what we're looking at right now. So I don't know how many times we said this, an important stretch, but this season, the way that things have worked out, every stretch is important. You guys tell me what you think in the comments section. What do you think the most important stretch is for the Cubs? Is this it right here? Or is it next week? Or is it the end of the season against Milwaukee? Or all of them important? Want to hear from you guys. Jump in there and let me know what you think. I try to respond to all of your comments, and appreciate you guys hanging out. Also, if you got an opinion on Nico, I really feel like Nico is the front runner for the Gold Glove at second base. I know there's some stiff competition, but I really feel like he has just been above and beyond anyone else out there. He's a shortstop playing second base. He looks like he's bigger than the position, which is a huge compliment. And then when you team him up with Dansby Swanson, those two are electric. They're the best middle infield in baseball. They're the reason why the Cubs, with kind of a mediocre pitching staff when you look at it, obviously not today with Justin Steele, but you guys know there's some weaknesses there, have done so well. It's because they've got great defenders behind them. Let them put the ball in play. Javier Assad, he's smart. Look, I'm going to trust these guys, let them field, and see what happens. And all that's happened is Assad and Justin Steele, who gets the strikeouts but isn't afraid to use the infield, are winning games, and so are the Cubs. So have a great Labor Day. We will talk to you guys afterwards and see what happens. Go Cubs. Thanks for being part of the channel. And make sure, again, if you love Cubs baseball, to subscribe Cubs baseball channel. Do it right here. I'm Mick Gillespie. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.